Alright, welcome back to Noble Garage. So, it's just me here today, so I'll be filming. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be test fitting the engine here to see how it fits. See how the engine mounts will line up and what I have to make. Right now though, I think I'm going to look at the shifter cables and the steering. On the Ion engine, it has electric steering, so that's inside the Ion, so I'm going to have to go look at that, see how that can be converted. As with the S series, it was hydraulic, so totally different, so I'm going to have to see what I can do there, and I'm going to try and take the shifter and shift cables from the Ion and put them in this car. So we're going to head over to the Ion and have a look at that. Okay, so here we are at the Ion. So as you can see here, here's the shifter cables and the bracket that run down inside the car. And then down here's the shifter linkage with the universal joint there that also goes inside the car. Just coming inside the car now. So I'm going to start by taking all this up, looking at the shifter where the cables run. I'm also going to pull the whole dash apart. I believe the steering electronics are in under here. So I'm going to pull all that apart. And I'll give you an update when I know what I'm doing. Okay, so it's about 3 hours later and I've removed almost the entire interior here. But we've got the steering column. I am not sure yet how much of this I'm going to use, but here's the electric steering motor. That's going to be used for sure. The rest I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with. So now to take a look at what's in the wagon. Okay, well it turns out the steering is completely different. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with that yet. I might end up having to have manual steering. We'll see what happens. But on the plus side, I got the windows rolled up. I left them down accidentally when I took everything out, and it's going to rain tonight, so I had to put them up. So now I'm going to try and get the shifter out of here. Not sure how it'll fit, but that's at least a little easier to adapt than steering. So I'll get this out and we'll see what it looks like in the wagon. Okay, we're back. So we didn't get much done the other day. I kind of ended that day, but so I got a cameraman here today and we're working on the struts. So we're going to get these struts. I got some spring compressors. We're going to get the tops of these off, and then we're going to try, here's the old struts. What the plan is I'm going to use the struts from the Ion with the springs from the Wagon with the top hat strut mounts from the Wagon, and we'll see how all that works. I don't know yet. I'll let you know when we got some things taken apart. Oh, I got the shifter cables out. Okay, so progress update. Sorry I've been working and forgot to film. So, done a few things. So, put the struts away. Turns out you can't just put the top hats from the Wagon onto the Ion. They're threaded differently and they can't go down far enough. I'll show you that later on. I've got the wiring for the battery out of the Ion, and mainly what I've been working on is what I'll show you next. Here we go, the entire interior has been stripped from the Ion, and I've got this rat's nest of a wiring harness. So I'm going to go through this. I grabbed it all because I didn't know what I would need and what I wouldn't need, so I'm going to go through it, take the tape off, strip out what I'm going to use. I'll need the power steering, the electric pedal. I'll need a few other things such as the RPM and speed. I'm not sure. Here's the BCM is on the interior fuse box. So I'm gonna figure out what I need and strip it down to that, and hopefully I won't have to bring too much of this wiring over to the wagon. So I'll give you another look with what I'm doing next. I'm gonna get going on this. Okay, so a little bit of an update. This rat's nest on the table here is what I've got the wiring harness down to. There's still a lot I don't need on here, but for now I'm gonna leave it until I get the car working, and then I can cut off what I don't need. The reason why I'm doing this is because I need the E-pedal signal. I want to have cruise control working. I also need the wires for the power steering. This here runs to the fuel, so I'll need these wires as well. Come over here, we have the box of wires I've cut off, so a lot has been cut off. Right now I've got the engine placed here. Nothing's holding it, it's just on the pallet jack right now. So here we have the fuel line from the red line. I've run it down here. You can see right there. So I'm going to cut that, and here's the fuel lines for the wagon. So I'm going to cut the end of that and attach it to those, along with the other fuel line that goes right here. So I'll give you a look at that when it's done. As for the fitment right now, it's pretty close. I really need to take the car off of this, take the hood off, and put this onto the engine, because right now the engine is sort of slanted like this. I need to get it level because I can't go any higher due to the clearance here. As you can see, the engine is not level and it needs to come up about that much. That'll change the angle here, and then I'll be able to get a better look at how it's going to fit. Coming out to the, it's raining, but coming out to the ion here, what I think I'm going to do is here is where the shifter attaches, so there's spot welds all along here. I'm going to now drill those out and take this out, because my idea is I'm going to see if I can just weld this in to the center of the wagon. That would give me really easy mounting points. They all could be the stock ones, and I wouldn't have to worry about that. I can place it wherever I want. So that's my idea right now. So I'm going to go ahead and drill these out, and I'll update you guys again when I've got some more progress done. Okay, well, I got this out. Look at how many spot welds there are though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21 spot welds. So this, switch hands. Thinking we can put it in here somewhere. I'm going to cut about here. I'll cut all this front part off here, and then here's where the stock shifter mounts are. These look like they're spot welded on here. I may not need to cut those, or I may drill them out. I need to get this probably as low as possible because it does sit higher, so the lower I can mount it, the better. And yeah, give you a look at what I'm doing next. Okay, so here it is. Engine's all in, good to go. No, I'm just kidding. I got a long ways to go. So here we can see the strings. I was trying to just get a level mark. You can see in here the, let me grab a flashlight. How close it is to that sway bar and everything right now. So I'm gonna have to cut a bit, as well as the engine needs to go back. We're pretty close up here. I think the whole subframe is sitting like this right now, and it needs to be tipped just slightly back like that. Not that much, but it will need to be. So I think the next thing is to do the struts. So essentially I need to have the tops to go with this car and the bottoms that go with the Saturn Ion knuckles. So I'm gonna go to a machine shop and I'm gonna see what they can tell me and what I can do, and see if I can get different bottoms put on the struts. And if that doesn't work, then I'm just gonna have to modify the knuckle and the bottom of the struts to fit on the knuckle. So that's the next step, I think, in lining up, so we can see how the strut sits, and from there we can determine whether they need to go forward or back. I've got the fuel lines planned out for what I'm going to do for that. So what still needs to be done is steering. I need to do the clutch line. That shouldn't be too hard. The big thing right now, I think, is getting the struts done, and then I can do the mounts. We're waiting on a welder, so once I get the welder, then I'm gonna tack up the rear mounts and the front mounts, and then we have a friend that actually does welding for a living, and he's gonna come and weld them all up professionally for us. But I think I'm gonna end it off here, and that's about all I can do for now until next time. Alright, well, that's it for this time, guys. So leave any questions down below. I'll try and answer them the best I can. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and until next time, thanks for watching.
Take it easy.